Yeah, g'day, this is R3 Ignited. Got some variety of guppies in here, and I just wanted to have a bit of a yarn about some of the types that I've got in this tank. I originally had one Endler, that one right there that's sort of spinning around in circles, and he was sort of my first Endler ever that I've ever owned. And he was in here for a while. I just wanted to try one out. I've never owned an Endler guppy, and then if he went well, I was planning on buying more Endlers. And then, funny enough, I went back to the shop. They run out of them, sold out by the time I had this one Endler in here just to sort of help the tank cycle for 3 or 4 months last year. So, long story short, I grabbed a couple of these banana coloured females out of the ponds outside. And then now they've successfully bred with that Endler. And I've wound up creating hybrid ones like this. They sort of have that sort of tiger, cheetah sort of pattern on them. And they look really nice. I suppose in the fish market they'd technically be a low-grade guppy because they're not a purebred chain, but I'm not really breeding them for profit necessarily. I just like them because I created them. And they're just very nice. Just the outcome of the genetic swap with the sort of the common yellow banana coloured guppy and then the Endler, and you've got these lovely hybrid ones that have like a leopard pattern. Also, the hybrids have also turned out like this one here. This is another female that's born, and he's just sort of got like she's got like a bit of colour coming on the tail there. You can see the orange coming through on the torso. And then another hybrid which I really like was this sort of butterfly tail, parachute tail type one. You can see the Endler sort of shape in the nose, Endler shape in the top fin, and then also the colours as well on the body. But it's inherited obviously more of the banana guppy traits, hence the sort of parachute tail. And it's just an experiment that I didn't expect to have any outcome, because I was thinking, how's this tiny little Endler going to be able to breed with a big, large, chunky looking yellow guppy like that? And as you can see there, they're still chasing her around and trying to reproduce. But yeah, the outcome come out good just by adding these plain boring females, and as you can see, the Endlers are enjoying the company, and now I'm getting all these hybrids. So what I figured I might do is if I can get a couple of these half-breed females like that one right there, and then maybe a hybrid Endler like one of these leopard ones, and put them outside in their own pond, and then they can create their own sort of unique hybrid chain of hybrid Endlers. And hopefully they can retain that nice sort of tiger colour pattern, and I can sort of maybe keep a chain of those going and possibly market them and sell them like that too. I wouldn't sell them for the general common price of purebred chains of guppies, but yeah, they would be sold cheap because they're not a full purebred type. Please comment below your thoughts. I am, as much as I perfect this hobby in terms of keeping water conditions good, in terms of setting up equipment, I'm still not 100% knowledgeable, you know, in terms of fish breed sort of science and things like that. That's what I'm still currently learning at the moment. I guess the word would be sort of like marine biology, or even just studying the anatomy of aquatic type species. But yeah, I need to learn a bit more of that. It'd be nice to sort of talk a bit more detail about fish in a scientific sort of value. But for now, I'm as casual and laid back as I can be because I love this hobby, and I love the fact that I've made these very colourful little hybrids. And we've got one here. He looks like a purebred Endler, but he's not. He's a hybrid because he come out of that one. That's the original Endler. He come out of sort of the result of that one mating with one of these sort of plain females. Now the hybrids are chasing her, and we'll just hope that we can get a few more out of it. Get a few more out of her. If I do get too many males in here, I may have to just put them out in the... I've got a generic guppy pond outside which just has all sorts of breeds in there. So I've no doubt created endless hybrids. Quite possibly I could have bred the colour out of them. Doesn't look like it yet because they've been breeding outside for a couple of years now, and I've just constantly had multiple coloured ones. There's a few different opinions out there. There's some opinions come out like people say, oh, if you breed too many guppies and create hybrids, you can breed the colour out. I'm not sure if that's true. Again, comment below, please share the knowledge. I get other opinions that it makes no difference. You're just going to keep creating rainbow coloured fish. I'm not sure if it's exactly like when you have Neocaridina shrimp. Sometimes when they breed, they lose their colour, and then over time you've sort of got to pick the colourful ones out and try and keep them breeding to keep the grade up high, sort of the colour and the sort of visual aesthetics of the shrimp. So I'm not entirely sure if it's the same with guppies. It could well be. But yeah, comment below and tell me. I'd love to learn a bit more about that. I've tried putting some guppy grass in here. I've got a pond outside. As you've seen on my other videos, it's powered by a cheap sort of eBay solar pump. Well, it's also got airline feed coming in to power the sponge filter in it. Now, yeah, I got that guppy grass out of there, and I've chucked that in there. A bit broke off because the snails and the guppies couldn't help themselves, but as you can see, it's fell down and it's started to grow. Yeah, I'm hoping that'll grow up there a bit. Constantly trimming this pothos, Swiss cheese pothos, or Monstera pothos as it's also known as. Constantly trimming the roots because I don't want it to sort of take over and then get in the way of these other plants. So I've sort of got this Ludwigia here. I've got an Anubias there, and did have some Java fern, but the snails seem to be annihilating it, or maybe the guppies are doing it. And it's even growing back. Very resilient plant, the old Java fern, because you can see it's got new rhizomes that have popped up there, even though it's had the absolute hell of it chewed. They've chewed the hell out of it. I'd love to catch them if it's the guppies or the snails. I just want to know what's going on. I do know that it is the guppies eating the banana lily here. Every time it has a chance to grow new leaves, it gets eaten. Then it'll shoot some sort of up the top here to float, and then they eat it, which is fine. It's not dead, so it's free food for them. And then I've got Vallisneria here, sort of growing quite tall, and it's had another rhizome sort of come out from, that's the original plant at the back, and another rhizome there, and another one over there too. Yeah, so this plant is actually, see, people think, oh, it's an underwater grass, but it's actually a vine grass because it grows like a vine. It's actually not in the same family as pothos, but it's a very similar structured plant, and in terms of how it grows, like you get the vine travels and you'll get a node pop up with a leaf, and you can actually cut that and plant it and make a whole new one. Which is how this was created. This is very similar. You could just cut that node there and plant that. It's growing the new ones. That's how I've managed to turn a cheap $5 purchased piece of Vallisneria that I got. It's actually not even from a shop. It was just from a mate of mine who lives here in Moreton Bay. He had it advertised on Gumtree selling aquatic plants, and I went round there and bought some for $5, put it in the pond, and then within weeks it overtook the pond, actually the swordtail pond outside, and then I'll end up just propagating it all around in different aquatic enclosures, and it grows anywhere. Like, as you can see, I'm just using a cheap Sun $20 LED. It's quite good, does the job, doesn't get too hot. The light's more than sufficient to grow all this nice luscious pothos, as well as these plants in the tank. So you don't even need expensive lighting to grow most of these plants. No need to get your $200, $1,000 lights when you can just use a cheap one. But anyway, yeah, going back to the plant, it grows anywhere. It grows under cheap lighting like this. It grows out in the sun. In fact, I think the more light you put on it, the faster it grows. And these guppies don't seem to mind it, eh? I can tell they've had a little bit of a nick of it here, but they're not really destroying it like they are with the banana lily and the Java fern. So the temperature I'm running this tank is 28. That's your atmospheric room temperature at the moment. I've got a heater here. Its default setting I've kept it to 22 because I wanted to try and climatise these guppies to get used to a little bit of cold just in case I ever move them outside. All my guppies outside have had no heaters. They've survived the Queensland winters, which have dropped down into the single digits on the odd occasion. None of them have died. Regardless of what opinions are out there, and a lot of shops will tell you this because they want to sell you heaters. But if you keep guppies outside, climatise them through, say, the late summer, and then get them into the winter, you will lose a few, but they will breed back. Because it's a survival instinct. They try and breed when they feel that they're in danger. Same as what tetras do. That's why I found if I put neons in a small bucket, for example, it'll simulate, I'm guessing, like a flood season, not a flood, but a drought season in the Amazon. They don't live, apparently I read they don't, neons and guppies don't always live in the main Amazon. They do live in the sort of less flowing water channels or sort of little outlets off the Amazon. And sometimes when they dry up, it sort of promotes them into a breeding frenzy for survival. I mean, I could be wrong, but that's what I've been reading about anyway. Oh, waffling on a bit there about it, but yeah. So yeah, I don't use heaters outside. I just keep one in here. Originally I used it because I was housing a betta fish in this tank, and I just haven't taken it out. So I just thought, just in case we do get a real sort of stifling drop in the temperature in winter, it'll just kick in at 22. Probably even keep it on 20, honestly, because the ones outside, they survive very low temperatures. So you can toughen them up. If you buy them from a fish breeder or a pet store that's kept them in captivity, and over time captive breeding does degrade the durability of them. Well, I think it does, because I found when you put captive bred guppies outside, regardless of how clean your nitrogen levels are in your pond or any of your water perimeters, they will die if it gets cold. But if you buy enough of them and they start breeding, the next generation will be hardier, especially to the cold. Like even the AI Google search, I looked it up. I said, do guppies always need heaters? And the AI obviously said yes. And there's multiple opinions online, and even in shops I'll tell you, yeah, guppies need heaters. But I'm telling you, I've had them outside in the cold, no heater, and they just keep breeding. Not to mention the nitrous and anaerobic bacteria probably does warm up the substrate in ponds, so that could be a little bit of a contributor. Plants also regulate temperatures too. There's a few different factors there. to consider. And it sort of works the same in a tank environment like this. As you can see, the fish waste sort of sediments down the bottom there. As it breaks down over time, plants, I guess, will absorb it. I've never changed water in my ponds. I just let nature top it up with rain. Rain is always at sort of pH 5 or 6 on the acidic side, which sort of suits these fish because they do come from a slightly acidic environment. Sometimes brackish water. They're very tough. They can survive in that. And then you just pretty much change your water in here a bit more often. Well, I always just top it up, actually. Honestly, I don't change it. I just do a full sort of test with one of these, what's the brand called? I forgot now. API, that's the one. Yeah, API Master Test Kit. So I'll always start with pH, do the ammonia, then the nitrite and nitrate. Oh, it doesn't matter what oil you do it in, as long as when you do the colour matching on the test, it's all 0. I've never even had anything go over 0. I'm guessing it's because of the plants, and I don't even change the water. As I said, I top it up. When it evaporates, you could call that changing water. And there is definitely some evaporation going on with this guppy tank, because you can see that the air roots on the pothos are growing a bit sort of closer to the tank. So obviously as the water evaporates, it draws the roots down. Another important feature which I like is this cheap Makona coffee jar. I thought it looked alright. It gives the sort of guppies a bit of a hiding spot as well. I was kind of hoping it'd grow algae on it, honestly, just to give it a sort of takeover look, but no, it didn't. There's all of these little sort of SpongeBob SquarePants Garys decided to eat all of the algae. Oh, I don't mind them eating the algae because I don't have to keep using this magnet scour. I'm actually thinking of taking this out. It just sits there doing nothing because the snails clean the glass. The glass is that clean, even if I look up close, you can barely see anything on it. Anyway, this is Artistry Ignited. Thank you for hearing me waffle on again about fish. I can never stop talking about it. I just really enjoy this hobby. I do have an upcoming video about my veggie garden set up outside. So if you don't mind, like, comment or subscribe. Tune in again soon.